Bgmc. The biblical truth lives here.
We are living in a time like no other in history, but fortunately for us, God wrote it all down in His prophecies. Find out what prophecies happened this week ripped straight from the headlines. Stay tuned for the Prophecy Headlines news show on the Remnant's Call.
End time prophecy! News, everybody. Da 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 da. Big dating game kiss. First news story comes from the land of
La
Israel.
primera historia viene desde Israel.
Okay, our first news story from the land of Israel. They started building the new homes in Judea and Samaria.
Ya comenzaron a construir los hogares en Nueva Judea y Samaria.
So when we move back to the land,
Así que cuando nos mudemos de vuelta a la tierra,
there might be a place for us to live
probablemente haya lugar para nosotros vivir.
instead of the Negev desert.
En-
Okay, the
Contra
first
Negev.
time in 25 years that they're building new homes.
Primera vez en 25 años están ya construyendo nuevos hogares.
Going on to the next slide. Last week we had a terror attack in Jerusalem.
La semana pasada tuvimos un ataque terrorista en Jerusalén.
ISIS has claimed responsibility for murdering the female soldier.
ISIS está reclamando su responsabilidad en este ataque a la soldado en Israel.
And ISIS said, the group stated that the attack was carried out by 3 kitty cats.
Y dicen que el ataque fue hecho y ejecutado por 3 ¿cómo? Gatitos.
I call them a bunch of fairies.
Yo lo llamo
They're not men.
homosexuales. No son hombres, son homosexuales.
Men fight face to face.
Los hombres pelean frente a
You want
frente.
to go? Let's go, baby.
Si quieres pelear, vamos.
A gay guy is somebody who comes out from behind.
Homosexual viene desde atrás.
That's Muslims for you.
Eso es el musulmanismo para
Going on
usted.
to the next slide. The public security minister of Jerusalem
El Ministerio Público de Jerusalén
has now said there's going to be great changes in security in Jerusalem.
dijeron que ahora va a haber un gran cambio y en la seguridad en Jerusalén.
I think every Muslim that comes into Jerusalem should have to be strip searched,
Yo creo que cada musulmán que entra a Jerusalén debería de ser
one at a
estrictamente
time through a gate
y uno a la vez en
with an X-ray.
los escáneres.
Okay? Then we'll stop this problem.
Eso probablemente detendría el problema.
Next news story. This is a very difficult story.
Esa historia es bien difícil.
The millennials in America, the Jewish millennials in America,
Los judíos milenarios de América,
their love for their home country of Israel,
sorry,
their love for Israel
su amor por Israel
has dropped 27%.
ha decaído un 27%.
They think they can assimilate into American society.
Ellos creen que pueden asimilarse en la sociedad americana.
Like my sister who wants to forget that she's Jewish.
Como mi hermana que quiere olvidar que ella es judía.
This is what was happening in Germany in 1910, 1920.
Esto fue exactamente lo que ocurrió en Alemania en los 1910,
When
1920.
you forget that you're a Jew
Cuando te olvidas que eres judío
and you don't stand with Israel,
y no te paras a favor de
don't worry,
Israel,
God is going to get your attention in a very bad way.
no te preocupes que Dios te llamará la atención de una forma mala.
All these young millennials are standing with the Muslim Palestinians.
Todos estos judíos millenniums están juntándose con palestinos.
So let's see about the Muslim Palestinians.
Así que vamos a ver los musulmanes
In this
palestinos.
next news story,
En esa historia,
it is okay for a Muslim man to beat his wife
está bien para un musulmán golpear a su esposa
if he lives in the West Bank
si está viviendo en el West Bank.
because of Israel's occupation.
Sorry.
Because of Israel's occupation of the land.
Por la ocupación de Israel en la tierra.
Somebody said this at the United Nations this week.
Alguien dijo esto en las Naciones Unidas en esta semana.
He beat his wife because he blamed Israel.
Él golpeó a su esposa porque enojado con Israel.
Boy, are we stupid.
Un hombre que eres idiota.
You couldn't think of a better lie than that, you dumb Muslim?
No puede pensar en una mejor vida que esa vida musulmana.
This just shows how little brain power the Muslim man has.
Ahí puede demostrar su pequeño entendimiento cerebral que tiene el musulmán.
It is never okay to beat a woman.
Nunca está bien golpear a una mujer.
Do you understand that?
¿Entiendes esto?
Torah says that we are to protect the weaker people.
La Torah dice que debemos de proteger a los débiles.
Okay? Muslims don't know how to control themselves.
Los musulmanes no saben cómo controlarse a sí mismos.
Going on to the next news story, anti-Semitism.
Noticia de antisemitismo.
In our first news story from anti-Semitism,
Y en nuestra primera historia de antisemitismo,
last week we had those men kill or attack the soldiers
la semana pasada tuvimos estos musulmanes atacando a los soldados
at the gate in Jerusalem.
en los portones de Jerusalén.
So they got shot by the other soldiers.
Y ellos fueron disparados por otros soldados.
And too bad they died.
Y murieron.
Oh, that was too bad. So Fatah says Israel is bad for executing the terrorists.
Fatah dice que fue mal que mataron a estos sujetos terroristas.
Stay on your side of the fence and we will have no problems.
Quédate de tu lado de tu verja y no tendremos problemas.
Going on to the news stories now. Please pay attention to what's going on. End time prophecy news, ripped from the headlines. First news story
Esta primera historia
is about truth.
es de acuerdo a la verdad.
Our God said He is truth.
Nuestro Dios dice, Él es la verdad.
His word is truth.
Su palabra es la verdad.
In our first news story,
Y en esta primera historia,
remember last year,
¿recuerdan el año
there
pasado
was that group that videotaped Planned Parenthood?
que fue un grupo que grabó el grupo de ¿cómo?
Okay,
Planned
that the
Parenthood.
Planned
Planned
Parenthood
Parenthood.
was selling body parts of the babies.
Que Planned Parenthood estaba vendiendo partes de los bebés.
Well, a judge has thrown out all but one charge against them.
Y un juez está
Amen.
demandándolo en un precio a ellos.
Okay? Because it was good that he said that they recorded this.
Porque el juez dice que fue bueno que grabaran esto.
Okay? Going on to the next news story. War. Please pay attention to this one.
Noticias de guerra, preste atención a esto.
We have two prophecies going together here.
Tenemos dos profecías yendo junto ahí en esto.
Matthew 24, verse 7,
Mateo 24:7
and Ezekiel 38.
y Ezequiel 38.
Ezekiel 38 talks about Gog and Magog.
Ezequiel 38 habla de Gog y Magog.
Going on to the news story.
En esa historia,
America shot down a Russian fighter the other day, on Monday.
Estados Unidos el lunes derribó a un avión ruso.
The plane was being flown by a Syrian pilot
Y este avión estuvo piloteado por un piloto sirio.
and was attacking our forces in Syria.
Y estuvo atacando a nuestras fuerzas en Siria.
So Russia says now they're going to shoot down any American airplane that's in their airspace.
Y Rusia dijo que iba a tumbar también cualquier avión americano que estuviera en su área.
Remember, Matthew 24, verse 7 says wars and rumors of wars.
Recuerda que Mateo 24 dice guerra y rumores de guerra.
Going on to the next war story.
La próxima historia de guerra.
An armed Russian jet, there you see it,
Un jet ruso, ahí lo puedes ver,
came within 5 feet
se acercó a 5 pies
of an American reconnaissance airplane.
de un avión americano.
Now that's a little airplane
Así que puedes ver un avión pequeño
compared to the other airplane.
comparado con el otro avión. El que
All the
estaba.
other airplane had to do was hit turbulence,
Lo único que debería de hacer el otro avión era sentir una turbulencia
and it would have banged into the littler plane,
y hubiese chocado con el otro avión,
sending that plane out of control.
mandando ese avión fuera de control.
What you're seeing here is the Cold War is happening again, and bad things are about to happen.
Lo que estás viendo aquí es una provocación a guerra y cosas malas van a acontecer.
Next war story.
Próxima historia de guerra.
In Ezekiel 38, it talks about Gog and Magog.
En Ezequiel 38 habla de Gog y Magog.
Gog is Russia.
Gog es Rusia
Magog is China.
Y Magog es China.
This week, Iran and China were practicing military drills in the Navy.
Y en esta semana Siria y China están
No,
practicando.
Iran.
Irán y China están practicando ejercicios de guerras en esa área.
That's Gog and Magog.
Ahí está Gog y Magog.
Get ready, people.
Prepárense.
Get ready for some big things happening.
Prepárense para algo grande a acontecer.
Next news story. In John 17, verse 14,
En Juan 17:14
we're going to be hated for following God's word.
vamos a ser odiados por seguir la palabra de Dios.
In the news story about this,
Y en esta nueva historia sobre esto.
this is a very interesting story about the Philippines.
Y esta es una historia emocionante sobre los filipinos.
You may have noticed we're not doing our Friday night thing with the Philippines anymore.
Usted quizás ha notado, quizás no lo sabe, que no estamos haciendo ya el servicio con los
They
filipinos.
broke off relations with us
Ellos rompieron las relaciones con nosotros.
because I told the leader to grow his beard.
Porque le dije al líder que se dejara crecer la barba.
And I told his wife to cover her head if she wants to be in leadership.
Y le dije que a la esposa que se cubriera su cabeza si quería estar en el liderazgo.
So they broke off fellowship with us.
Entonces se rompieron la unión con
But
nosotros.
ever since then,
Entonces todo lo que aconteció
ever
después de
since then,
todo lo que
the
pasó después de
Philippines has been in the news all the time for not good but for bad.
las Filipinas no ha estado en todas las noticias y no para bien sino
I
para mal.
cannot stress enough, everybody.
No puedo stress enough.
I cannot say strong enough
No puedo ser tan fuerte con esto.
that
tan firme.
belief in Yeshua is not enough.
Que creer en Yeshua no es suficiente.
For Satan believes in Yeshua.
Porque hasta Satanás cree en
You
Yeshua.
must also be obedient to God's commandments.
Tienes que ser también obediente a los mandamientos de Dios.
So here in the Philippines,
Aquí en las Filipinas,
a young Christian girl
una cristiana joven
was forced to pray the Muslim prayer
fue forzada a hacer la oración musulmana
to pass a class.
para pasar las clases.
And this is happening all in the southern islands.
Y eso está sucediendo en esas islas del sur.
Islam is overrunning the Philippines now.
El Islam está controlando todas las Filipinas ahora.
Next news story.
Ujú.
Okay, the St. Louis Cardinals,
El equipo de
the
San Luis,
baseball team, the St. Louis
el
Cardinals,
equipo de San Luis
refused to bow to the homos
usó en aceptar a los homosexuales.
because they wanted the Cardinals to cancel Christian Day at the baseball field.
Porque ellos querían que el equipo cancelara el día de cristiano.
So one of the baseball players spoke,
Así que uno de los beisbolistas dijo,
and he said 98% of the people are straight,
dice que el 99% de los
are heterosexual.
98% son heterosexuales.
We're not going to bow down to the 2%.
No nos vamos a doblegar por el 2%.
Amen.
Amén.
Going on to the next news story.
Esa historia.
Get ready for this happening all over America, this story.
Prepárense para que esta historia pase en todo Estados Unidos.
God says when you don't follow my word, one of the things I'm going to do
El Señor dice que si no sigues mi palabra, una de las cosas que va a acontecer
is take away your money.
es tomar tus bienes, tu dinero.
Here in this news story,
En esa historia,
the entire state of Illinois has filed bankruptcy.
todo el estado de Illinois se declaró en bancarrota.
The entire state has filed bankruptcy. Make it
Todo-
74 up front.
Todo el estado de Illinois se declaró en bancarrota.
Okay? That's not good
Eso no es bueno,
because there's so many people taking money from the government.
porque hay muchas personas tomando dinero del gobierno
The government can't pay for all y'all.
y el gobierno no puede pagar por todos.
This is where the congregations and the church needs to rise up
Es ahí donde las congregaciones, la iglesia debería de levantarse
and start feeding its own people.
y comenzar a alimentar su propia gente.
So this is just the beginning of many states filing bankruptcy.
Y esto es el comienzo de otros estados al declararse en bancarrota.
They have something like $13 billion in debt.
Ellos tienen una deuda de 13 millones de dólares, 13 billones de dólares.
Going on to the next slide. At the end of days, good will be called evil and evil will be called good. Isaiah 5.
Al final de los días, lo bueno iba a ser llamado malo y lo malo bueno.
Going on to the news story about this. Pay attention to this one. If you pay attention to any story, pay attention to this one.
Si has prestado atención a cualquier historia, por favor, presta atención a esto.
Because this is coming here, everybody.
Porque esto se está acercando aquí.
If we fall, this is coming.
Si nosotros caemos, esto va a entrar.
Christian school in Canada,
La escuela cristiana en Canadá,
the government has banned parts of the Bible for them to teach.
el gobierno le ha prohibido de enseñar la Biblia.
Because they say it's offensive.
Porque ellos dicen, el gobierno dice que eso es ofensivo.
Let me tell you something, everybody. The whole Bible is offensive.
Le voy a decir algo, realmente toda la Biblia es ofensiva.
The Bible is not there to make you feel good.
La Biblia no está ahí para hacerte sentir bien.
The Bible is there actually to make you feel bad.
Realmente la Biblia está para hacerte sentir mal.
Now, what do I mean by that?
¿Y a qué me refiero con
It
eso?
tells you what sin is, and that's what's separating you from God.
Te dice lo que es el pecado y eso se separa de ti a Dios.
But if you're doing what God says, then you'll be happy.
Pero realmente si haces lo que Dios quiere, serás feliz.
But it says any teachings that denigrate or vilify someone's sexual orientation can't be taught.
Dicen que todo lo que enseñe y denigre que ofensivamente a nivel de sexual, en esa orientación sexual tiene que ser prohibida.
So the parash that we're doing this week can't be taught
Así que la parashá que vamos a estar haciendo en esta semana no se puede enseñar
in Canada.
en Canadá.
Get ready.
Prepárese.
Hitler did the same thing.
Hitler hizo lo mismo.
He first banned certain books.
Primero prohibió ciertos libros.
Study your history, everybody.
Estudia tu historia.
Satan does not change.
Satanás no cambia.
You want to know what's going to go on? Study 1900 to 1930.
Saben que tienes que estudiar lo que pasó en 1900 hasta el 1930.
They're going to ban the Bible very soon.
Ellos van a eliminar la Biblia
And then there's going to be war.
y entonces va a haber una guerra.
Because I'm going to die with the Bible in my hand.
Porque yo voy a morir con mi Biblia en la mano
And a 45 in the other.
y la otra con una 45 en la otra.
Next news story. In Pensacola, Florida,
En Pensacola, Florida,
that cross that has been standing there for 75 years,
esa cruz que fue levantado hace 75 años, y está
one person brought a lawsuit.
una persona trajo una demanda
And now the cross has to come down.
y entonces van a tener que derribar esa cruz.
That cross is a monument to the greatest person that has ever walked the planet.
Esa cruz es un monumento a la persona más extraordinaria que caminó en el
And
planeta.
anybody tries to take it down, let them go meet God.
Y si alguien quiere venir a quitarla, deja que se reúna con Dios.
Let them go meet God.
Hagan
But only
hagan una
if you're
cita con
following
Dios.
spirit and in truth.
Pero solo lo que siguen en el espíritu y en verdad.
Next news
son
story.
los verdaderos.
Prophecy, witchcraft.
Profecía, brujería.
So we're taking down the cross.
Así que si vamos a tumbar
But
la
in
cruz,
Deuteronomy 18, verse 10 and 11, it says, witches should be barred from your society.
en Deuteronomio 18:10 dice que la brujería debiera de ser desarraigada de la sociedad.
So what's our society doing? Promoting witchcraft.
Y que la sociedad está haciendo promoviendo la brujería.
Here in this news story,
En esa
a
historia,
top fashion magazine says, have your inner witch come out.
una revista de moda dijo que dejen de relucir la
Have your inner
brujería.
witch come out. Warlock.
Ellos dijeron que deje que
Okay,
sobresalga el brujo
Have your
de
inner
ti.
warlock come out.
¿Cómo puedes hacer salir la
That can be
brujería?
promoted, but we got to take the cross down.
Eso puede ser promovido, pero debemos de tumbar nosotros la cruz.
God is allowing our faith to remove from our society.
El Señor está permitiendo que la fe sea desarraigada de la sociedad.
Next news story. The other day,
El otro día,
thousands of witches gathered together to cast spell on Donald Trump, maybe to fix his hair.
thousands, Rabbi, miles de brujas y brujos se reunieron para hacer una brujería al presidente.
They were casting spells on Donald.
Querían hacer hechizos al presidente.
But this is being promoted.
Pero esto ha sido promovido.
But we got to take down the cross.
Y entonces nosotros debemos de quitar la cruz.
We got to stop teaching the Bible.
Vamos a tener que dejar de enseñar la Biblia.
What did Isaiah say?
¿Qué dice Isaías?
In the end of days,
Al final de los tiempos,
evil will be called good,
lo bueno iba a ser llamado malo
and good will be called evil.
y lo malo bueno.
Next news story. The city on the hill no more. Matthew 5, verse 14.
La ciudad en el monte ya no más. Mateo 5:14.
We're supposed to be a city on the hill.
Debemos de ser la ciudad arriba en el
That
monte.
means bringing the light to everybody.
Eso significa trayendo la luz a todos.
Okay? In this news story,
En esa nueva historia,
6 Baltimore schools can't produce a single student proficient in math or reading.
en 6 de las escuelas de Baltimore no pueden promover a estudiantes proficientes en matemática por su deficiencia en la lectura y en la matemática.
Look at the bottom, everybody.
Miren ahí abajo.
At their high school, 90% of their students
En esa secundaria, un 90% de los estudiantes
received the lowest possible score.
recibieron la calificación más baja que hay.
Only one student
Solamente un estudiante.
came anywhere near proficient. He didn't pass it, he came near it.
Él fue el único que llegó cerca. Él no pasó, pero llegó cerca.
See, when you remove God from the society,
Saben que cuando quitas a Dios de la sociedad,
you can throw all the money you want at a problem, it's not going to fix it.
puedes invertir todo lo que quieras en el problema que no lo vas a resolver.
Baltimore is one of the highest per student money in the country.
Baltimore es lo que están invirtiendo más en asuntos de educación.
Next news story. Dogs, the snakes, the animals, Islam.
Los perros, las serpientes animales del Islam.
In the news story about Islam this week,
En esa historia de islámica, en
we
esta
had an
semana,
Islamic attack this week.
tuvimos un ataque islámico en esa semana.
Well, it actually was last week because it was last Saturday, last Shabbat.
Realmente fue el Shabbat pasado.
In Michigan,
En Michigan,
some guy saying Allah, Allah, bing bang,
él le dijo alaba la Bimba.
came up and stabbed the police officer.
Y vino y se explotó en la estación de policías.
I think the guy who stabbed him is dead. Darn.
Creo que el que vino a apuñalar está muerto.
Get ready. This is going to be happening all over America.
Prepárense que eso está a punto de acontecer en todo Estados Unidos.
Because why?
¿Por qué?
Because God's Son, Yeshua, said,
Porque el Hijo de Dios, Yeshua, dijo,
kingdom versus kingdom.
reino contra reino.
What is kingdom? What is a kingdom?
¿Qué es un reino?
The kingdom of our God
El reino de nuestro Dios
against the kingdom of this world.
en contra del reino de este mundo.
Country versus nation is America versus Canada.
Nación contra nación es Estados Unidos contra Canadá.
Kingdom versus kingdom
Reino contra reino.
is our faith against the rest of the world.
Es nuestra fe en contra del resto del mundo.
So this officer is in critical condition.
Así, ese oficial está en condiciones críticas.
That's enough news for now.
Eso es suficiente por ahora.
866 of you are out there. Hit the doggone donate button. Shalom. My name is Messianic Rabbi Andrew Dinnerman, and I invite you to come to visit our congregation. If you are in the tri-state area, come out and visit with us on Shabbat. We are a congregation of Jews and Gentiles, living as one in the Messiah Yeshua. Bgmc is a place of true worship. The focus never wanders from the Hebraic roots of our faith. Beth Goyim is rooted in the Word of God from Bereshit through to the book of Revelation. Messiah's strong words against man-made tradition are carefully recorded in Matthew 7. That is the reason we only follow the straight-up instructions found in Scripture, truly the way, the truth, and the life. If you're looking for a deeper walk with Adonai, come out for our Tuesday evening Bible study called Messianic Torah Time. Come, spend a day with us on any Shabbat. We start at 11 a.m. with the sound of the ancient Hebrew shofar. Next, we offer our King praise and worship in English, Hebrew, and Spanish. After worship, we review the headlines in the previous week's news from around the globe, especially news from the Holy Land, Israel. We don't just list the news headlines as current events, but we comb through the scriptures searching for clues to understand what they mean and then to help pinpoint prophetically our current position on Adonai's clock. After digesting all that modern information, we leave the world behind as we journey with our Adonai deep into his eternal word, not with just 1 or 2 scriptures, but usually 7 or more scriptures. The spiritual nourishment and the richness of his kingdom become accessible to the ones who share this special time and seek them out. The day does not end there. Because Shabbat is so special to him, there is always so much more that our King desires to share. So instead of separating and leaving, we stay together as a family for potluck lunch and an afternoon study of our King's Word. We close the Shabbat together with the reading of the new week's parashah. That's the Torah portion. Even after those blessings, many of us just can't get enough. So the members bring prepared homemade foods to share while we all enjoy an uplifting movie together. If all that information is not quite enough, you can check out our website where you will find over 200 video teachings and biblical holy day studies. Under Messianic Torah Time, the Hebrew Roots button, you'll discover free studies on many different topics, including PowerPoint slide presentations. If Beth Goyim sounds like a place you'd love to visit, but you live outside the tri-state area, there is still a way to connect with us. We stream live on the internet on Tuesday, Thursday, and Shabbat. The website is www.bethgoyim.org. That's BETHGOYIM.org. Our phone number is 973-338-7800 or 978-2-YESHUA. That's 978, the number 2, Yeshua. Shalom.